So the last time I took a picture with a bottle of bourbon as big as the bottle that we had the opportunity to get a picture taken with this past weekend,
Yeah.
I don't remember it. And I
Yeah.
think there's a
That's
reason for that because, like, I'd never seen a man-sized bottle of bourbon.
I know, especially when that dance moves.
JT was in a bottle of bourbon,
That's
but
it.
no. So Chuck and I went to a bourbon festival, and we're going to tell you about that as we sip on some Kentucky Owl Confiscated that we're going to tell you about as well. Stay tuned. Okay, Chuck. So we told them, we were at the Great American Whiskey Fair, and incredible event. Um,
Yeah.
you know, Christian, can't remember Christian's last name. But anyway, he's a local restaurant guy, and he can't be a bad person because he has a restaurant named Bourbon.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite restaurants here in Columbia, South Carolina. And it will be one of your favorite restaurants, period, as soon as we get the opportunity to take you, you and your wife, to it. But
Looking forward to it.
so, yeah, I am too. But so anyway, the guy is passionate about bourbon when you turn around and he's in a full-on bourbon bottle costume with like white, looked like Mickey glove hands or whatever, dancing
Mickey feet.
around, and Mickey feet
Yeah.
dancing around, taking pictures with people. Uh, but then it got even better when he officiated a wedding during the event
As the whiskey ball.
as the bottle, which
Yeah.
was great. Um, but so incredible event. We met a lot of great people. Um, you know, reps, distillers, just bourbon drinkers. I
Yeah.
mean, like a ton of cool people. And we really appreciate if you stop by to see us, you don't know how much we appreciate that. Um, because like I said, we got to talk to people. We got to talk about bourbon, which we love.
Yeah.
We got to show them our app, which we love. We had people download our app, which we love, and they loved it as well.
Yeah.
So, let's go ahead and talk about what we're drinking as we discuss some of this. So, this is Kentucky Owl Confiscated, distilled in Kentucky. They send it down to Louisiana to bottle it. And that's because it's sourced. No one really knows. They haven't said who they source it from, but MGP is who a lot of people source their bourbons from. We know that can't be it because they're out of Indiana. Um, like I said, there's multiple distilleries it could be from, but anyway, it's 96.4 proof. There's no age statement on it, but I've tried to research it. I've seen everything from 2 years to 4 years. I haven't seen much over 4 years. Um, so we'll just go. It's undisclosed. Everything's undisclosed about this bourbon, other than the fact it's called Kentucky Owl Confiscated and it's 96.4 proof. Um, it's a cool presentation. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the bottle's a cool. It's got the like a copper penny-ish looking thing on the top of the wood and the cork. Um, but like I said, it's from Louisiana. Stoley Group owns it. Still doesn't really tell us anything. So you ready to kind of see what we're dealing
Yeah.
with here?
Smells awesome.
It does. And that surprises me. And so it doesn't surprise me, I guess, because, well, yeah, it does. And I'll tell you why it surprises me is because 4 years was the most that I saw anyone say that it was aged.
Yeah.
So it's like leather. I get like some leathery,
And
you
sweet,
know,
like caramel.
there's a caramel on the nose.
Kind of like an aged oak, a little bit. There's a hint of that.
Yeah, and like I said, that's what surprises me because the nose is really complex for a bourbon that's between 2 to 4 years, supposedly.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, can't really find a lot of information on it, but it's almost like you would definitely think that it was aged a while by the way
Yeah,
it smells.
yeah. So
That's good.
that is,
I mean, it's trickled all the way up through my nose. I like that.
yeah,
That's good.
yeah. The palate does not like it does not let you down.
At all.
So, and it's way more complex than what you would think out of a especially if it's a 2 year bourbon. There's no way it is. I don't think
Mm-mm.
there's any way that this is a 2 year, like I
And
said,
I'll tell you
four.
what you can compare. Let me tell them this, Doug. If you want to compare a 2 year, full on 2 year bourbon to this, get you a bottle of this and then try you a sip of Bluffton. That's 2 years. And do the comparison. They actually say theirs is 2 years on the bottle.
So,
Then you'll
do,
know Confiscated is not 2 years old.
do we have a bottle of Bluffton that we can send people? Because I don't think they're going to be able to find it.
If you want some of that, I'm glad. I mean, we can work that out probably because I'm not going to drink any more of the bottle that I have. So yeah,
Oh, that's a bad bourbon.
it's
So
horrible.
now here's the one thing about this. They think a lot of it.
They do.
It's $125.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is a really good bourbon.
But it's really good. I
It
mean,
is
it's just
it is really good. So the thing is like this is more of a I got it because I didn't pay $125 for it. Because like $125, I've got to know it's good first, but before I'm spending
well,
that kind of money.
and there's some very, very good bottles that maybe aren't. Well, they're actually right around that proof, or
Yeah,
maybe a little higher that are way less.
yeah, and but no. So here's the thing: is let's take because we know that it's expensive, and it's one that when you've got it sitting back on your shelf, people are going to be like, "Oh, really? You got that?" Or they're going to be like, "Oh, you're an idiot,"
Mm.
um, because it was $125. But let's just take that out of consideration right now. Okay, we're going to forget about the fact that it's a $125 bottle. It's good.
It's real good.
It's better than what I expected. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll be honest with you, it was like I said, I knew it was a $125 bottle. I didn't pay that, but um,
Well, there's still things like from on my taste buds
that's what I was going to say.
that
I've still like stuff is still coming through on it.
yeah, it just lingers, which is awesome.
Yeah, and that's what you want out of a bourbon. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to. I have had bourbons that I wanted that taste to go away really, really quickly, but they didn't. Garrison Brothers. Um, but anyway, most bourbons, you want that taste to linger. You want that palate to, you want to continue to taste stuff. And this is one of those bourbons. This is a very good, like I said, 4 year is the most I could get anyone to say that it was. But for a 4 year bourbon, it's surprisingly good. Like it's a well blended bourbon.
Yeah.
And
It's a lot of flavor for what they're saying the age is possibly at. Yeah, I could sip on that all day.
yeah, not at $125 you can't, but
No, not
I mean,
$125.
you may be able to. I can't.
No.
But yeah, you get like, and we've told people we like higher proof bourbons. This is not, this is 96 proof, but you get some, like, there's a good little heat at the end of it. Not like a high proof heat. It's kind of a different heat. But like I said, it just keeps on talking to you.
Yeah.
So, and like talking, let's go back to the Bourbon Festival. So, Great American Whiskey Fair, Columbia, South Carolina. We expect to see you next year, October 6th. Go ahead and put it on your calendar. We will be there. And had a great time, man. Hadn't ever done a whiskey fair of any type. Hadn't done, a bourbon festival or things like that. As far as having a booth, I had been to things, and as much as I hate to admit, I don't remember a whole lot about them because, when you're getting a 1/4 ounce pour and everybody's like, oh, just a 1/4 ounce. Well, you've got to think like, so let's just say Barrel's Table, for instance. They had 8 bottles of their bourbon. Like,
just their their table was like ordering a double.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So
and so, like, and there were 270 different whiskeys. I don't want to say bourbons because we've seen some Japanese whiskey, some Canadian whiskey.
And there's some Scotch and Irish whiskey in there too, but most of it was bourbon.
Most of it was bourbon. I would say probably 240 to 250 bottles of that was bourbon.
Yeah.
And so, like tickets for a VIP ticket, I think they were $150. And you got another thing that goes hand in hand with bourbon, and we've got a big announcement that we'll eventually get to, not today, but anyway, there was somebody there hand rolling cigars.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have cigars with your bourbon, I don't know what's, like, you need to at least try it because it brings out flavors that you'll never taste otherwise. In both of them, like if bourbon will bring out flavors in the cigar will bring out flavors in the bourbon. And plus, like, I mean, just sitting around, like, say a campfire or something like that, there's not a whole lot better, like, things to do than sit and drink a bourbon and smoke a cigar with your buddies. Yeah. But so they were hand rolling cigars, which if you've never seen that, that's kind of amazing in itself. But we had good food. I don't know what.
Nice barbecue.
And
those a good southern, and the collard greens. If we had to comment on something, It's probably some of the best collard greens I've ever had in my life, and I can't figure out exactly what they did to
Yeah, that's what.
them.
So like Chuck and ours, I'm from Kentucky, which I do not, and this is going to make people mad, Chuck. I do not consider Kentucky Southern.
Depends on what part of the state you're in. My part probably would be.
So, it's, but I'm in South Carolina now, and, outside of the bourbon, the love for bourbon, I've always kind of felt like I should have just been born here, so like, um, but collards, man, those things were amazing. And like I said, I don't have any idea what they'd done to them. But good food, great people, just incredible atmosphere.
Yeah.
And so, like if you haven't, if you're a bourbon person, put it on your list to attend a bourbon festival,
Mhm.
whether it be the Kentucky Bourbon Festival is something that we will be at next year. Um, and we plan on having a booth there. Uh, please stop by and see us. Christian came by and told us, he was like, I don't know how you guys will do because I've never had a table that didn't have bourbon.
Yeah.
And this was the 10th year for the festival. And it was incredible. Like we talked to people all night long. People stopped by. They didn't care that we didn't have bourbon. They had their bourbon.
We
They
had people
stopped and
download the app,
yeah,
left, went and got bourbon, then brought their friends back.
yeah, and they were like, "Hey, you've got to download this app, scan this QR code, download the app, and talk to these guys." And we had people, and we appreciate you all doing that. Like, if
Yes, we
if
do.
you are one of those people and you're watching this, we appreciate you. That means the world to us. And but I didn't really know what to expect because, like I said, the only experience that I'd had with it was just walking around drinking bourbon.
Yeah.
And honestly, when you're doing that, you kind of miss a lot of the festival
Yeah.
because if you're just focused on drinking the bourbon, you're missing a ton.
Yeah.
So like Chuck and I are going to tell you right now, if you go to one of these festivals, enjoy the bourbon, but talk to the people that are standing around you because they're pretty cool people.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of like Chuck and I doing a tasting. Like we'll taste different things, we'll smell different things. Those people are going to taste different things in the bourbon, and once they say, hey, I got this out of it, and you'll be take another drink of it, and you're like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's there. But
And as much as me and you talk about how long we've been drinking bourbon, you're going to run into people at bourbon festivals that double the amount of time or more than what me and Doug have been, have been around bourbon or drinking it and tried different things. I mean, there's people that show up at these things that can literally tell you about stuff that they know just so much. I mean, as far as like knowledgeable about different things, and they can tell you exactly where to go if you're looking for certain things. That's why you just need to talk to people,
yeah,
you know.
and that's what like. So Chuck and I talked
Hmm.
to a guy that was what he was like 79,
Yeah.
and was like one of the coolest dudes there that we talked to. Dude was amazing, but like he had been drinking bourbon longer than Chuck and I combined.
Hmm.
And like we just sat and talked to him. I mean, he downloaded the app and
Yeah.
loved the app.
Yeah.
But like we just sat and talked to him because he was just a cool dude. Like
Hmm.
and those are the kind of people that I love talking to. Like he truly had a passion for bourbon.
Yeah.
And so that's what and so we've got a partner in this app that we hope that you'll someday get to meet. But Nick was there with us at the event, and he's fairly new to bourbon,
Mm-hmm.
and he's hilarious. He's
He's
great.
awesome.
He's awesome. But he was like, hey, he said, I noticed something. He said, there's two kinds of people here, and that's all there are. And I said, well, what are the two kinds of people? And he said, it's the people who really appreciate and love bourbon and the people who are here to drink.
Yeah.
and, and
Yeah.
we met both types of people. We did. And I agree 100% with him.
When we went to go eat, we saw one of the drinkers. He was laid over on a table. Remember that?
And
I mean, just
and we were 45 minutes into the event.
45 minutes in the event, and he was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was one of the drinkers. You
Yeah.
know,
I
his
should have ate first.
probably his what I have to assume was probably his dad. Look from because they stopped by the booth.
Yeah.
And they stopped by the booth before he had already started, but before he got deep into it, they stopped by about 10 minutes in. And so I have to assume it was his dad, and his dad was one of those lovers of bourbon.
Yeah.
And he was sitting eating his food while his son, the drinker of bourbon, was passed out already on the table.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, if you are, I will tell you this, you're going to enjoy it more if you're a lover of bourbon.
Yeah.
Because if you're just a drinker of bourbon, you're going to wake up the next morning and be like, oh, God. If you're a lover of bourbon, like, you know, Chuck and I made friends with some of the people at the booths because we had our tasting glass as well, and we tried what we wanted to. You know, we were selective about it because
We'll try like 5 or 6.
Yeah, tried 5 or 6. I got to try one that Chuck didn't, unfortunately, and I wish he had have been able to, but it was a 1/4 ounce pour, and I got maybe 1/8 of an ounce. I got just enough to be able to taste it on my lips because she literally turned the bottle up and shook it for me to get it out. But Old Fitzgerald 17 year. Like I wish you'd have got to taste that, Chuck, but
Me too.
I mean, I
I
guess you
wish
could
I'd
have.
known they'd had it right behind us before it was gone.
She, Old Fitzgerald 17 year was literally on the table right behind us for the VIPs, and Chuck and I had no idea that she had that bottle back there, or we would have had our 1/4 ounce pour of that bourbon.
And just to let you know, the VIPs of these events do get to taste things that everybody else does not get to try.
Yeah,
There are, like the High West table had Midwinter Night's Dram.
Yeah, you know,
And he showed it to us.
Yeah, and so we saw 2 of the VIP bottles, and it was the only 2 that, like I said, because when I was walking by, I asked him, I said, VIP Midwinter Night's Dram, and he said, yeah, it is. And he told us to come back and get it, and we got busy. And then the Old Fitzgerald 17. Here's the thing. The Old Fitzgerald 17, you're going to pay almost as much for a 1 ounce pour of it as what you're going to pay for the difference between the VIP ticket and the regular ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so if you're going to an event and you get signed up early enough, if you get your tickets early enough, go ahead and get the VIP tickets. Because for one, you get in an hour earlier.
Yeah. You get a t-shirt.
You got a t-shirt. You got a cigar.
A bag. A cigar.
You got a hand-rolled cigar. You got a swag bag. Just get the VIP tickets because, like I said, you also got Old Fitzgerald 17-year and Midwinter Night's Dram. If those are the only two things you got, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in all seriousness, if those are the only two things you got, it's worth it. So now, worth it, $125. I don't know that it's worth $125. When we're talking about the Kentucky Owl Confiscated, but it's a good bourbon.
It's a great bourbon. I would definitely. It's not one I'm gonna. To be fully honest, it's not one I'm gonna go out and try to get above some others that I need first in my collection, which Doug will tell you is mine and his both are getting pretty big.
Yeah,
but there's some other ones I'm gonna take care of first, and but that will eventually be in my collection. But it's just I go off of whether it's a good one plus the price point, and the price point kind of sets that one back a little bit. But it is a very good product, though. I can't knock that. It's great.
Yeah, great product. So here's the thing. Download our app because it's going to tell you where to get stuff like this at a good price point.
What you should be paying for it.
What you should be paying for it, where you can find it. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any episodes. And follow us on social media. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Follow us on all of that stuff. And go ahead and like this video. Comment. Tell us what you want to see next. We appreciate you watching. And we are the Bourbon Market.
See you next time.